Before the flood, before the ark, before the world was washed clean, something dark walked the earth, something not fully human. The Nephilim, giants, hybrids, and the ancient war that shook heaven and earth. Have you ever read the Bible and stumbled upon a verse so strange, so otherworldly, that it made you stop in your tracks? Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days. Giants. What were they doing there? And who, or what, were the Nephilim? This is not mythology. It's not a legend. It's a warning, hidden in plain sight. Because when you uncover the truth about the Nephilim, you begin to see the ancient spiritual war that still shapes our world today. The Forbidden Union. The story begins not on earth, but in the heavens. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful. Genesis 6:2. These sons of God weren't human. They were angels, beings of immense power, who crossed a line they were never meant to cross. They left their celestial realm. They materialized human bodies, and they took women as wives. This was not romance. It was rebellion. It was spiritual treason. And from this unnatural union came the Nephilim, the birth of the giants. These were no ordinary children. They were hybrids, part angel, part human. And they were massive in size, and even more massive in ego. Tyrants, bullies, beings of legend and terror. The Bible calls them the mighty men of old, men of renown. But make no mistake, these giants brought not glory, but violence. Genesis 6:13 says, "The earth was filled with violence because of them." And so God made a decision. The flood wasn't just about sin. Many people think the flood was about human wickedness, but there's more. The flood was about purging the earth of a corrupted bloodline, a genetic invasion, a spreading darkness. The Nephilim and the angels who created them had contaminated creation. And so, God wiped the slate clean. Only Noah and his family were saved, because Noah was perfect in his generations. Genesis 6:9. Not just righteous, but untainted. Let that sink in. The misconceptions exposed. Some say the Nephilim are still alive today, but Scripture is clear. They were wiped out in the flood. Their angelic fathers were imprisoned in darkness. Jude 6:1. Peter 3:19-20. Others say the Nephilim were fallen angels, but the Bible draws a distinction. The angels were the fathers. The Nephilim were the offspring, mutants of flesh and spirit. The angels had taken on human form, and they brought something into the world that was never meant to exist. A hybrid race, a perversion of creation. But here's the chilling part. Jesus said, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." Matthew 24:37. Think about that. What if the Nephilim weren't just a one-time event? What if we are seeing echoes of this rebellion again? Genetic manipulation, transhumanism, the blurring of lines between spirit, flesh, and machine. Are we walking blindly into another Genesis 6? This is more than history. The story of the Nephilim, it's not just about giants. It's about the consequences of spiritual disobedience, about the war between heaven and hell. That started long ago and is still raging in unseen realms. But here's the hope. While the Nephilim were destroyed, God preserved a remnant. a faithful family, a lineage through which would come the Messiah, Jesus, the one who didn't just descend from heaven, but who came to destroy the works of the devil. If this opened your eyes, if you're ready to go deeper into the ancient mysteries buried in Scripture, then comment "I choose truth" below. Subscribe, because we're only beginning to uncover what was hidden. From Genesis to Revelation, it's all connected. And the time to awaken is now. He who has ears to hear, let him hear.